I made a segment about this when this whole, I don't want to call it drama because that I believe is underselling it. I don't want to call it outrage because I believe it's overselling it. But this ordeal, I made a video about this when it first happened. And when the resurgence of this nightmarish grift came, I was like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. But I saw something that made me change my position, okay? So this is Cenk Uygur going on News Nation. I saw this clip. I'm not going to lie to you. I decided I'm going to stay out of the TYT thing. I think it's too stupid. I think everyone involved is too charged. It's too dumb. I'm sorry. I'm staying out of it. I already made a video on the first fucking round of it. I'm not doing a second lap until I saw this fucking video. This is a 5-minute video, so I don't know how long this segment's going to be. Could be 20 minutes, could be 30 minutes. I don't know. Usually it takes me 5 minutes of video. That can take me a while to get through. But this is Cenk Uygur going on. I don't know what this is. This is News Nation. So he's going on like mainstream news, I guess, to shit on the left. Why? Because this guy is lost it. He has, I should say. He has lost it. He has lost it. Now, again, we can argue whether or not Cenk Uygur ever had it. I'm willing to argue about that. That's a debatable subject. I say there have been times where I really appreciate Cenk Uygur's position in online media. Most of the time, that's not the case. But this clip here, to me, this is irrefutable, undeniable evidence that Cenk Uygur has lost it. This guy is a grifter. Full stop. Okay? Full stop. And this is my evidence. If you ask me why I believe it, this is this clip. So again, I just want to say, I decided to step out of it. I could have made a lot of money. Think about it from my perspective. I'm a trans YouTuber. I'm a trans YouTuber. I could have made video after video about this. I could have been talking about this every day for weeks, and I would have made hundreds of dollars of ads. Think about it. Think about the opportunity cost. But I decided it's too much for me. I don't really care about it that much, so I'm not going to do it until I saw this video. And that, again, I really want to underscore how egregious this is. So without further ado, let's watch this. This guy does like a half of the video is this guy's opening. And I want to play the opening. A lot of people don't play openings to this. They just play the guest appearance. I think that that's incorrect because this is the broader context of why going on this show in this fashion is horrible. We need to understand the broader context. We're going to have to put up with this fucking little cocksucker in his weird-ass goofball fucking attire and ears, by the way. Like, what's going on here? Anyway, let's get going.
When thinking about fire-breathing liberals, not moderates, but unadulterated and highly outspoken lefties, one of the first names you have to think of is Cenk Uygur, the founder of the Young Turks, which was one of the first liberal digital media giants and now has more than 5 million subscribers on YouTube, more than 6 billion views. It bills itself as the largest online news show in the world. So when Cenk speaks against the far left, I listen. And that's...
So I just want to make this point, and I want to make it very clear. I should have maybe made this point a little sooner. This is a branding exercise. And what is a branding exercise? A branding exercise is you're not doing something because you're passionate. You're not doing something because you believe in it. You're doing something to accomplish some sort of hierarchical exchange on a power ladder. Right? So I personally believe that the Young Turks feels that they have lost a position of hierarchy within left-wing media spaces. They feel like they have less power and authority over the left broadly. That is my diagnosis of the situation. So they are positioning themselves and branding themselves in a new way that tries to concentrate power in a certain kind of demographic. Now, with that in mind, they are weaponizing the same tactic that right-wingers use, and this is why, to me, this clip is so egregious, okay? You know when right-wingers say woke, it's woke, it's woke, 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 woke. Oh, they're woke, you're woke, I'm woke, I'm not woke, but you're woke, the kids are woke, the schools are woke, and then you say, oh, well, what does woke mean? And they freeze. That is Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian with the term extreme left or far left. They use it in, and I mean this sincerely, the same exact way that right-wingers say the word woke. Now, with that in mind, I want you, when this whole thing starts, when Cenk Uygur comes on, he never defines the word woke, or rather, the word far left or extremist. They're undefined. So it's a moving, vague target. And the purpose of not having clear and defined terms, again, it's a branding exercise. It allows you to have a larger demographic outreach because people are going to hear the term far left or far left extremist or extreme left or woke, right? They're going to hear that and they're going to already have a preconceived definition in their head. And so when you avoid defining it, you avoid possibly countering someone's preconceived notion in their head, right? So you avoid actually making them think about it. And then again, it casts a broader net, which increases your demographic of users. That is a branding exercise. That is what this is. When you see people going on Fox News to talk about the woke, they're branding. That's all it is. So again, with all that in mind, let's keep going.
That's what happened recently when a well-known progressive stalwart, Anna Kasparian, a co-host of The Young Turks, tweeted, quote, "I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus."
Now, real quick, I said this in my initial video, but again, the other aspect of this that makes it so clearly a branding exercise, by the way, I love that they censored the word shit, that's great, is that this did not happen. This did not happen. Nobody, and I mean that sincerely, like, this did not happen. No one looked at Anna Kasparian and said, hey, birthing person. No one, and I mean zero, not one, not two, not an insignificant but still above zero statistic. I mean zero. I mean absolute dead ass motherfucking zero. Zero people ever throughout the entire history of the world on planet Earth have ever called Anna Kasparian a person who menstruates. Never happened. It's never happened. So that's the other thing about this, is that it's made up. It's not real, right? This is a completely manufactured outrage. Now, that goes without saying, it is theoretically, right, if you are somebody who is, let's say, allergic to logic in any fashion, if you believe that this did happen, if you believe that it did happen, someone was like, hey, yo, birthing person, like, if you believe that that did happen, even then, that does not excuse any of this kind of fucking meltdown behavior, this whining. It doesn't undo any of the other aspects of this that make it obviously a branding exercise. But I think it's very obvious to anybody with a brain, this did not happen. Okay, it's not real. They're just making shit up to whine and cry, and that's really all it is. But and again, that's gonna be very obvious when Cenk comes on. But just so we all understand,
birthing person or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this.
So again, not degrading because it doesn't happen. Okay, it doesn't fucking happen. So therefore, it cannot be degrading. So a lot of people, they have these, again. People on the internet, they live in a conspiratorial fantasy land, typically. And it's really, really hard to undo that. So if you are a regular person, you're interacting with society, chances are you've never fucking heard the term birthing person or person who menstruates. Why? Because you don't go to the doctor. Why? Because you don't have health insurance. No one goes to the fucking doctor in this country, right? These are terms that are used politically and medically in a larger context, in the same way that there are a lot of people who have had their gallbladder removed, who have had their thyroid system, altered or removed in some fashion, right? So, or there are a lot of people that have their appendix removed, right? If you read a phrase, people with appendices, do you feel offended? If you still have your appendix, you never had appendicitis, so it is technically still possible that that could happen to you. And so therefore, do you read that and go, oh, well, what are the preventative? No, you read that and go, I am not a person with an appendix. How dare you? How dare you? Like, anybody who doesn't understand this is dumb. Anna Kasparian is dumb. Now, again, a lot of people out there, a lot of left-wingers on YouTube, they have this history with the Young Turks I don't have. I've never been on their program. I don't care about going on their program. People have said, I'd love to see you on TYT. People have said they've asked people on TYT to have me on. I don't care about any of that. To be honest with you, this tweet, and again, this is going to be a long segment, so bear with me. This tweet is evidence of two things, probably both, but theoretically one of two. Anna is lying on purpose to gain power and influence on the internet, or she is fucking stupid. Those are the only options. Now, again, you can have your own history. I have friends, I have family members. On some issues, they're just fucking stupid. This idea that we all have to pander and pretend like, oh, but you're so normally great. Oh, your highness, you're so normally so great. So, oh my God. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not playing that game. If someone in my family said some crazy ass shit like climate change isn't real, you know what I'd do? I'd say you're fucking stupid, right? So this is one of those situations. There are two options, and it's probably both. It's probably both, but I'm open to believing she's lying on purpose and she's not actually stupid, or I'm open to believing she's actually stupid and she's not lying on purpose. I'm open to believing either one of those, but it's most likely that she is stupid. She's a dumb person. She's not intelligent. And now, again, I know I'm alienating people. I'm aware of that. I know I got people that watch my videos. I know they're going to watch this. They're going to be like, oh, Andrea's being too far. Maybe I'm a little drunk. Who knows? Whatever. I know that they're going to have that reaction. It's all good. I'm not calling you out. I'm calling this dumbass bitch out. Okay. So, again, if you read a poster that says someone that has tonsils, if you have tonsils, you should look. If you read a poster that says if you have this body part, you should know about possible cancers, that you should know how to do a breast exam, blah, blah, blah. Right? So again, if you read that as, oh my God, I am not a person with tonsils, I am a woman! You are a dumb person. You're just dumb. You're dumb. You're a dumbass, okay? You're a fucking moron. You're a dipshit. You're a stupid ass, dumbass bitch. Now, with all that being said, let's continue.
You know, you get it. Now, to most people who don't live in a Twitter bubble, this would seem so obvious that it's not even worth saying.
Now, this guy, I'm assuming this is Dan Abrams. I'm not sure if this is a guest or on this show. This is actually a good point, right? I'm going to play this part again here.
Now, to most people who don't live in a Twitter bubble, this would seem so obvious that it's not even worth saying.
Accidentally correct in this instance. Accidentally correct. It is obvious that it's not worth saying because it's not real. This is a fake outrage. It's not real. It doesn't exist. That's why it is obvious it's not worth saying. But they said it anyway. Anna said it anyway. And that is why either, again, she is stupid, it's a branding exercise, or most likely both.
But those who do live in the Twitter bubble descended, calling her a Karen, a transphobe, a TERF, by the way, is a new term I learned, which is apparently slang for trans exclusionary radical feminist, intended as a slur used by some woke activists.
So again, this is clearly a right-wing, like, I don't know anything about this guy, but just the language, woke, all of this stuff, this is a right-winger. Tried and true right-winger, right?
And the controversy has only continued to grow. To her credit, Kasparian didn't back down, tweeting this week, LOL.
No, actually, this is an incorrect thing. She did back down. She got, you know, as people on Twitter are saying, she got cooked. I don't quite understand. Is that a Breaking Bad reference? I don't know. I love Breaking Bad. But anyway, that's like new Twitter lingo. I don't understand. And then she stopped talking about it for 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I'm not sure. And then she randomly brought it up again. So, again, to her credit, she didn't back down. She did back down. And then she brought it up again randomly out of nowhere for no reason and said a bunch of fucking extra stupid ass shit. So let's keep going.
Well, the meltdowns over wanting to be referred to as a woman rather than a birthing person is pretty wild. I'll never apologize for that, especially as a biological woman who's had a lifetime of being told I'm less than.
So again, another reason why I think Anna Kasparian is stupid. Now, again, this is not an attack on people that aren't Anna that also do this. There are a lot of cis people that watch my program. There's a lot of people that are way more popular than me that watch my program. I know I got a lot of people that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers that watch my program. So I'm telling, this is all a PSA to everybody. Get your shit together. terms like biological woman and biological man are stupid, unscientific, dumbfuck terms, and they're offensive. There is no such thing as a biological woman. Do you understand what the word biological means? It means a living person. It means biology. It means being alive. There's someone outside someone walking around, and Max is freaking out. So everybody who is a woman and who is alive is a biological woman. But a lot of people, I know that sounds alien to them. They're going to be, but what about the organs? The organs! Well, first of all, we have Max, are you okay? We have a situation where there are more intersex people than there are people that are transgender. Intersex means you're not cleanly on either side of that situation. You're in the middle of a spectrum, right? That's what intersex means. There are more people that are intersex than are transgender, right? So if you are intersex, what does that make you? Are you a biological woman or a biological man? Or maybe these terms are fucking stupid and they don't mean anything, okay? Now, extra, okay? If you are somebody who is trans and you take hormones, what do those hormones do? They change your biology. Your biology, your living tissue is altered by hormones. That's literally what they do. They change your body. So the idea of calling someone who's been on hormones for 10 years a biological man or a biological woman, whatever, the one that's not correct would be, is dumb. If someone has been taking testosterone for 10 years, they are not a biological woman, okay? That's a stupid fucking term. And again, you could just use the word cisgender, which is an accurate term. Anna Kasparian is a cisgender woman, but she uses the word biological. Why? Because she doesn't give a fuck. Now, again, I know there's a lot of people out there that might not understand the problem with the word biological or the phrase biological woman or man, right? I get it. You can be ignorant. That's fine. But it's a combination of ignorance, neglect. If you are in this position, if you have hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, you should know this. You should have spoken to at least one or two trans people about terminology. You should know how problematic and unscientific and inaccurate this language is. We're talking about inaccurate language here. Biological. And there's also biological women, whatever the fuck that means, cisgender women who can't have pregnancy. So again, it's just a stupid fucking term. Right? So again, you should know better. If you don't, that's fine. I'm not calling you out. But this whole thing, all the dominoes together, all the eggs in the basket together point in only two directions. Now again, or both. She is stupid. Anna Kasparian is dumb and she doesn't know what words mean. Very possible. And or she is doing all of this on purpose to navigate her power into a higher position in compared to her into her demographics. So she's changing her demographics, the people that watch her, in such a way that she is in a more of a power position among the people that watch her. Probably both. Now I'm willing to set aside obvious, maybe I am being over the top calling her stupid. It's possible. But I'm not seeing any evidence, and I'm willing to change my opinion. If she comes out and says, oh wow, I really made a mistake, this whole thing was regretful, all right, that is a sign of intelligence. Until that happens, I don't know, man. But we haven't even gotten to the part where Cenk comes on here. I knew this was going to be a long-ass segment. Let's keep going.
And I'm a woman, no apologies. And now the big boss, Uygur, has jumped into the fray to defend Kasparian. And it's all descending into the type of thing many on the far right will no doubt delight in, and are already. Liberals eating liberals, so to speak. But this is about more than that. Uygur, who will join us in a moment, is trying to talk common sense to his fellow liberals.
Extreme fringes are trying to silence the marginalized moderate majority. Now, again, this is something only a stupid person would say. For those of you that don't know, this is on the Dan's take on the board here. Only a stupid person could say this. Extreme fringes, by the way, we have those, that's an undefined term. Extreme, how are they extreme? Fringe, how are they fringe? Undefined terms. Trying to silence, telling someone they're wrong is not silencing. This is like, again, this is the same fucking shit that the right does. Not because this guy's a right-winger, but Cenk Uygur is going on here and agreeing with everything this guy says and giving this guy clout and attention and power. Saying, hey, I think you're wrong, actually, is not silencing. So again, undefined term, are trying to silence, not silencing, the marginalized, moderate majority? Marginalized. Can someone tell me how the majority can be marginalized? The marginalized majority? I mean, just, the fuck? What? The fucking shit, what? What?
Pointing out the extreme fringes are dominating the conversation and trying to silence or marginalize the more moderate majority in this country, in much the same way those on the far right fringes do. Uygur writes, left-wing extremists help right-wing so much. 66% of this country is left-wing, according to polling on policy issues. They don't believe in defunding the police or being called Latinx or calling women birthing people or...
So this is another, again, evidence. This is a fact. This, in my view, is like finding the smoking gun with the fingerprints on it, with the surveillance footage that shows the guy clearly looking at the camera, clearly identified, touching the gun, holding the gun, and shooting someone, and then placing the gun in the position that the police found it. This is evidence. 100% indisputable, irrefutable evidence that what Cenk Uygur and Andrea Kasparian are doing is a branding exercise so that they can change the makeup of their audience, lie to their audience, and again, try to gain whatever relative power they can with a changing demographic. Who the fuck is talking about Latinx? Who the fuck is talking about defunding the police? Now again, this is a same thing with the right. This is because Cenk Uygur is a right-winger at heart. He is a reactionary. So he hears someone say defund the police 3 fucking years ago. 3 fucking years ago. And he can't let it go. An uprising in this country against police brutality. George Floyd was murdered brutally on international television. And Cenk Uygur's response to that is, oh, these radicals, the fringe, saying that the cops killed someone, they're so fringe. How extreme of them. Think about it. Think about it. Protesters who saw a black man get murdered brutally on international television rightfully responded with, defund the police. And Cenk Uygur 3 years later can't let it go. Why? Again, it boils down to the 2 possibilities. Either they're fucking stupid, or I should say, it's a branding exercise. Both is the likely outcome. Both is my personal opinion, but I'm willing to debate whether or not it's one or the other. I'm willing to debate that. I'm open to debate that, but both is the most likely outcome. These are right-wing pivots. Who the fuck is this guy talking to? This is the biggest question, is who is Cenk Uygur talking to? Who is Andrea Kasparian talking to? They're talking to Ben Shapiro. They're talking to Kari Lake. They might pretend that they're not, but that's who they're talking to. They're talking to Matt Walsh. They're talking to right-wing donors. They're talking to centrists. They're talking to neoliberal Democrats. They're not talking to lefties. They're not talking to progressives. They're certainly not talking to transgender people. They're not talking to abolitionists in any other way. Think about this. They brought Olayemi on the show. She's someone who's an abolitionist. They've picked her as a target for no fucking reason. I can think of a reason, but you know, I don't want to burn too many bridges here. I can think of a reason, but they picked on her for no fucking reason. They brought her on the show, and then after yelling at her and talking down to her on the show, Cenk Uygur, they pretended that the conversation never happened. So think about it and this is, again, evidence, irrefutable evidence, that this is either stupid person, can't remember basic facts, like 3 weeks after a conversation, 3 months after a conversation, you can't remember basic facts. That's signs of dementia. That's signs of you being stupid, or that you don't care, that you had that conversation, you didn't even bother to pay attention enough to commit that to long-term memory in any fashion, right? Or they're branding. Now, again, I think it's both. But they brought a prison abolitionist on, Oyemi, by the way, look her up, she's great, and had a conversation about it, about what abolition means, and then immediately after the conversation continued to lie about abolitionists and continued to pick on defund the police, a phrase from 3 years ago, right? So again, these people are deeply unserious, to use a very popular term. But let's keep going, because Cenk Uygur's about to come on here, so it's going to get a lot worse. Maybe this should be a two-parter. I don't know.
Abolishing prisons, anyone who claims they do is lying. Now, this is a conversation we've been actively having on this show for more than a year now. So joining us now is Cenk Uygur, founder and host of the Progressive Young Turks. Cenk, thanks for coming on the program. Really appreciate it. All right, so what is going on here, and why are you...
Notice, by the way, real quick, I want to pause here. I know. We're finally here. Cenk's on the show. I want to pause here. With this clip, this is Anna Kasparian. This is a 30-seconder. I'm going to play it in one go. Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur whining on their show a couple days ago, saying that they're not going to have left-wingers on their show anymore, and they're not going to go on left-winger shows. But Cenk Uygur is going to go on a right-winger show. Now imagine a scenario. They're all crying about this podcast called The Leftist Mafia, which, by the way, doesn't look like there's many Italians on that show, so that's a criticism for them. So invite me on the program. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so they're paying a lot of attention to that, and they're whining about it. Did Cenk or Anna ever even think about going on the show to have the conversation face-to-face? No. But they're going to go on a right-winger show. So much so that they're going to whine on their program about never talking to leftists ever again. But going on right-wingers programs, that's great. Again, this is who their audience is. They're trying to make an active demographic tectonic shift to bring in more right-wingers, more moderates, more neoliberals. I'm going to play this clip.
To be honest, I just don't really care to collaborate with any other leftist ever again at this point.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, because they come on the show, they build a name for themselves, and then they build a bigger name for themselves, trashing us as if they don't know who we are.
So this is another thing, again, that is irrefutable evidence that this is a power move. Like, they come on your show and they build a name. Oh, you are so beautiful and amazing and gracious and profound and powerful that you granted them an audience. Most of the people that 2IT bring on their show are people that are already popular. Now, again, there's a lot of people that they've done a lot of great stuff for. That's fine. We're not talking about that. But most people that they bring on the show, that they collaborate with, are already popular. They don't bring people on their show from my fucking, to whine a little bit and from a personal perspective. They don't bring people from my threshold of the 5,000 to whatever subscriber range. They don't bring people like me on. They bring people that already have platforms. They bring people on that already have a book out, that are in a position of maybe their profession is that they're a lawyer, they're an ex-cop, or they're whatever, they're a political person. They bring people on that they can benefit from most of the time. Most of the time. Now, I said I'd play this clip in one go. I already lied on that one. But, so that's just a little look into the viewpoint from her. This is how she is seeing it. She sees it as she is so amazing and powerful and wonderful and lovely and the greatest person ever, and she is going out of her way to give other people a little crumb of her power and her influence and her audience. And she is the one who's going out of her way to do such great things. What?
As if they haven't worked with us, they don't know what our actual political values are. So I don't...
And again, this is also projection, because she is making up a situation. No one called her a birthing person. It never happened. Okay, it never happened. She's lying, right? But more importantly, she's lying about the far left. She's lying about the extreme left. There is no extreme left. I'm going to tell you this full on. Okay, I'm going to tell you this from my perspective. Watching this is so frustrating. All the love in the world to David Dole and and the leftist mafia. That is not a far left show. It's just not, right? Olay, she's pretty far left, but like David Dole, not far left. The Serfs, not far left, right? Humanist Report, right? Now again, these are really good shows. I don't really like the Serfs that much, but these are really good shows. They're progressive shows. They're leftist shows. This is not like, when have you seen David Dole going out there talking about the abolition of roads? Now, maybe he's talked about it a little bit. When have you seen the Humanist Report go out there and talk about how we need to completely eradicate cars? When have you seen the Serfs do a segment on banning fast food? Now, I'm just saying, like, on a matter of fact, the leftist mafia, it's a left-wing show. Absolutely. I'm not trying to shit on them. I'm not trying to call them far-right or right-wingers. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm better than them, because I'm not. Well, what I'm saying is the idea that you would look at the leftist mafia and think that's a far-left extremist show, that's fucking stupid. And this is why, again, you have to either be stupid, a dumb person, you lack intelligence, or you're branding yourself in order to believe that the leftist mafia is... Like, does the leftist mafia go on, like, they dress up in black bloc and they fucking parade the streets during Proud Boy fucking protests, and they fucking do, like, reconnaissance at, like, protests, and they're No, now again, that's not to say that they should be doing that. They're in a different lane. But the idea that you're going to call them, like, an extreme fringe? The Rational National is the extreme fringe? Like, bro, what the fuck are you on? On drugs of some kind. Now, I say this, I'm on drugs right now. But I'm on the drugs that makes me have more fun. She's on the drugs that makes her brain fucking turn into goop. Okay? The idea that, like, she is lying. That's the thing. She's like, oh, they're lying about us. You are calling the leftist mafia, like, a far left extremist fringe show. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Now, you can call me a fringe show. I personally think I am way more fringe than the leftist fucking mafia. I come on my show, talk about how we need to abolish roads, we need to abolish fucking prisons, right? We need to abolish fast food, we need to abolish plastic, we need to abolish fucking social media, for Christ's fucking sake. We need to abolish all kinds of stuff. We need to abolish religion. God, I know Humanist Report hates religion too. Shout outs to him. But, like, I consider myself to be fringe. I look at the leftist mafia. They're great. I love their content when I watch it. I don't watch it often. I don't watch political content as much as I used to. But they are not an extreme fringe show. It's not. Okay, it's just, that's a fact. So just get that.
Jake, I never want to talk about them again. I never want to address them again. It's a waste of time. There's important stuff going on in the country. Our personal drama with a bunch of leftists on Twitter doesn't matter.
All right.
So they say that, then Cenk Uygur 2 days later goes on a right-wing television program on mainstream news. Like, I don't want to collaborate with leftists ever again. They're all crazy. I hate them all. They're all fringe. By the way, let's go on some right-wingers show. And again, this is why these people are fucking insane. But let's keep going.
You getting involved in this?
Yeah. So, Dan, look, we've got a massive problem in the country overall that no one is representing what I call the silent majority, which is about 2/3 of this country.
Now, notice the silent majority, I know it can be used in a neutral way. It is often a term that right-wingers use. They often use the term silent majority. I understand what Cenk Uygur is trying to do is he's trying to flip that into weaponize that term for his own perspective, but it's failing. It's not working properly. One, because, again, he's unintelligent, and two, he refuses to actually identify his terms. So all he's doing, really, all it amounts to is he is just using right-wing language and right-wing framing. And the only thing is, instead of saying woke, he is saying far left. Instead of saying woke, he is saying fringe, extremists. But it's the same argument. It's the same argument. Let's keep going.
Country that I would argue is indisputably progressive. So I could show you the polling on it.
I would argue, by the way, that most Americans are not progressive. We live in a situation where only 16.7% of Americans in 6 months have gotten a free, safe, no cost, effective, free vaccine for a pandemic that is killing thousands of people. 16%. Thousands of people a week, I should say. Only 16% have gotten the free, again, free vaccine. Only 16%. So I don't give a fuck about polling. I'm kind of a motherfucker that says actions speak louder than words. Someone can say, I believe in free healthcare, and then there's a free healthcare in the form of a vaccine and they refuse to get it. They don't believe in free healthcare. Actions speak louder than words. That's my opinion. And now I can use all kinds of terms. Now I can use all kinds of examples. Do Americans really think that transgender people are all great? Most Americans don't like me. Why? Because I'm transgender. Now, there's a lot of other reasons why a lot of other Americans don't like me. But most Americans, right, they see transgender people and they go, ugh, freaks. Now, they might not think that transgender people deserve the attacks that they get from right-wingers, right? They might be neutral on it, but the idea that most Americans are fundamentally progressive is just wrong. It's wrong. I personally think it's a conspiracy theory, because if the only evidence you're going off of is polling, I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe that people that say things on a phone actually translate to any actual actionable things. That's my opinion. Now, we can have that argument. I'm down to have that argument. I'm not I'm not telling you that this is a fact of nature here. There's a law of physics. I'm down to have that argument. But I do think it is fallacious to think most of the country is progressive. I don't believe that. I really genuinely don't. Okay, now again, I'm not saying that I think Cenk is lying per se. I just think he's wrong on this one.
You name it, paid family, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, universal health care, minimum wage, you name it. The country is progressive. The problem is,
one of the other issues is the word progressive also doesn't really mean anything. Like, yes, most people are in favor of an increase of minimum wage. Does that make them progressive? I mean, in a technical sense, yes, because they are advocating for progress. But does that really make them do they have a left-wing ideology? Do they have a liberal ideology? That's the other thing. Is it it's a class reductionist argument? People support a minimum wage increase, therefore they're progressive? What? That's you can maybe make that argument if you had a couple other factors in here, but universal healthcare, well, we know actions speak louder than words. Most Americans didn't give a fuck about universal healthcare when we had it for the last 3 years. In one instance, in a trial run, just to be very clear, in a trial run, the U.S. government got off its ass and gave us a trial run at what a free, effective healthcare system would look like. 80% of Americans, more than 80%, 83% of Americans said, fuck that shit. I don't care about vaccines. Vaccines are evil. Right? They're fucking stupid. By the way, again, free, safe, effective. Get fucking vaccinated. But, okay, now again, so I believe actions speak louder than words. But does it really make you a progressive to believe in a fucking, in taxing the rich? Is that really progressive? I don't think so. I really don't, okay? And if it is, then progressive doesn't have a definition that we can use in any actual way.
Democratic Party doesn't represent them because they're the corporate establishment and they represent their donors. So, well, obviously the Republicans don't represent them. So that just leaves us progressives out here in the wilderness. Well, the problem with the progressive movement now is folks on social media from time to time completely misrepresented. Now, I want to be clear. What I would call the extreme left.
Now, note, by the way, again, extreme left, never defined, not going to be defined. It's not defined. It's, instead of saying, imagine Cenk is saying woke, because it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Don't have bad intent. I think the right wing has bad intent. I think it's arguable whether the corporate wings of both parties have bad intent, but the extreme left is not helping our situation. So when you've got 2/3 of the country on your side, lean into winning issues. And by the way, trans rights is a winning issue. And we've defended trans rights probably longer than any show in American media history.
So I just want to say this. This is another point to my earlier point, another piece of information. They always love to talk about the track record, the track record. We've been doing this for so long. Look how great we are. Right? Okay, first of all, I just want to say this. Thinking trans people should not be executed does not mean you support trans rights. the Young Turks has done, and again, regardless, I don't give a fuck, right? I don't give a shit all your little fucking, qualifiers. I've seen videos of Cenk and Anna talking about transgender people in sports and buying into right-wing conspiracies. I've seen Anna Kasparian talk about biological women in sports. Right, so I just want to say this. Like, they have fallen for all kinds of right-wing propaganda on transgender issues. Right, that does happen. Now, you can say that they've learned from that. I say they haven't, very clearly, by this whole thing. Right, so again, this idea that they're perfect because they don't want to eradicate transgender people, as if that's like a litmus test. Right, now again, that's good. I'm glad that they support transgender rights, broadly speaking. But this idea that, like, that makes them so special, that, like, oh, well, it's conditional. Because that's really what it boils down to, is it seems that it's conditional support. We support trans people as long as they refer to us in ways that we like, or whatever the fuck. And trans people, by the way, have you seen many trans doctors? Now, there's a lot of great trans doctors out there, but it takes like a long time to go through medical school. A lot of people don't really end up doing it that are trans, especially, right? So it's like, have you seen many trans doctors out there that are like going out of their way to, like, it's just, again, it's fake outrage. It doesn't happen. And also, again, extreme left, never defined. He might as well be saying woke.
Okay. So now when we say something simple like, we're positive women want to be called women and they don't want to be called birthing people.
Now, again, that's not a thing. That's like saying, look at this fucking snot rag that I use because I have allergies and this is on my desk still. Look at this. I don't want to call this a hairbrush. Look how sane I am. I'm so sane. Look how sane I am. This is a used up tissue, not a hairbrush. God damn it. With the extreme fringe woke mob keeps referring to these tissue papers as hairbrushes. How dare. Like, again, my point is, it's not a thing. No one is doing that.
Or people with uteruses. And by the way, some, like Anna, are actually offended by that. You're not being.
Now, again, Anna's not offended by that. One, because it never happened. And two, it's a branding exercise. But again, if she is offended by that, great, because then that's evidence that she's fucking stupid, right? So again, the two axes, dumbassery, unintelligence, stupid motherfucker, and branding exercise. So if she is offended by something that didn't happen, point for the stupid column. I don't believe she's offended. I personally believe she's lying on this issue, right? So, but I also believe it's possible she is stupid, but I don't believe she's actually offended by this, just to be clear.
Inclusive, you're being exclusive, and you're choosing to fight.
I love this. The trans people, this is like, that right-wing meme, so much for the tolerant left, as if like leftists have ever right. But this is that same exact right-wing meme. Oh, the people that want maximum human rights for everybody, they're actually exclusive. The people that want equality for everyone so that everyone is treated equally under the law, actually they're the real bigots. You know what? Those leftists are the real racists. What?
On losing ground for no reason when we have all the winning ground in the world.
That's the thing, is it's not happening. It's a fake outrage.
So, and Dan, the other problem here is the right wing, when you have someone that agrees with them a little bit, like Chris Rock will take big pot shots at Republican white males, etc., but then he'll agree a little bit on cancel culture, and the right wing will say, that's it, Chris Rock's one of us, right? On the left wing, we have the exact opposite situation, where somebody could fight for you for 200 years in a row. The minute they don't agree with the most extreme thing you've ever said.
Can we talk about, by the way, the idea that using medical language is extreme? Like, I already used the analogy of someone with tonsils or someone with an appendix, or, someone with a certain, like, let's say if you had chicken pox as a kid, you may be more at risk for something else like, shingles or whatever, right? The idea that is somehow dehumanizing. Again, you just have to be, the only way you can make this argument and not be lying is if you are a stupid person. Like, and I really need people to understand this, okay? I don't give a fuck what anyone's track record is. If you genuinely believe that on a poster someone being referred to, someone saying, if you have a uterus, check out for this. If you believe that that is exclusive in any fashion or extreme, like fucking Jesus fucking Christ, you know, as someone who actually considers themselves an extremist, I mean, wow, the idea that this is extreme. Fucking a body organ on a medical pamphlet is extreme, like Jesus fuck, right? But again, there's two options, and it's probably, or both. But the only way that you can actually sincerely say that a medical pamphlet is extreme is if you are a stupid person. And I really need people to understand that. Now, that is not me saying that Cenk Uygur is stupid. I personally believe that it is probably an 80-20 situation. He's kind of stupid on a lot of issues, but I mostly believe he is weaponizing his position to gain power and influence in a shifting demographic. That's my opinion. But again, if you take Cenk Uygur at face value, if you take Anna Kasparian at face value and assume they are not lying, then the only other option is that they're fucking dumb. And I know that that's going to put a lot of people off. I know I'm going to lose a lot of people that follow me for whatever reason. I know that's going to trigger people. People are going to be disappointed in me, I'm sure, whatever. I don't care. If you genuinely believe that someone, like, if you have had your tonsils removed, how dare you? I'm not someone who has had my tonsils removed. I am a woman! Right? Like, the idea, if you actually, you have to be dumb. You have to be. Or lying. There's no in between. Now, if you want to argue with me, I'm down to debate it. Come on my show. Let's debate if there is an in between those. But the only way you can be offended by something that's not real is if you're stupid or lying.
That's it. We're cutting them off. They're right wings. They're fascists. They're transphobes, etc.
Yeah.
We got to win elections so we can protect the LGBTQ community and all of us.
Again, it's conditional supports. That's the end of the clip. But I need people to understand liberals are fundamentally useless. This was my major thing when I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is liberals are useless. If there's conditional support, it's not support. I support the rights of these marginalized groups, but some of them are a little uppity, so maybe I'll change my mind. If it's conditional, it's not actually support. But again, I think I spent way too long talking about this. But I'm going to make some sweet ad dollars off this clip, baby. Let's go! Making my name off of TYT hate. That's right, everybody. Look at me. I'm doing it. I'm hating on TYT for the money. For the fucking money, everybody. Look at this. Look at this. This is what hating on TYT gets me. Look at this. This is what I get from hating on TYT. Look at the money. I'm raking it in, folks. I'm raking it in. This is not real, just for reference. This is, I bought this on the internet. It's just printer paper. But still. Either way, the fundamental point here is that you can say extreme left or woke. They are synonyms, right? In this instance, Cenk Uygur is acting like Ben Shapiro. In this instance, he is identical. And the only two options here, or both, it's possible it's both, but either Anna and Cenk are stupid, they're dumb, and I know that that's going to get me canceled. I'm going to get on a blacklist on every single progressive show because everyone sucks these motherfuckers off so hard if you say anything wrong about them. How dare you? I'm going to get blacklisted. I don't care. Either they're stupid and dumb, lazy, unintelligent, or they're lying, or both. I'm willing to believe it's both. But action-wise, if they are stupid, they can be educated theoretically. Now, there are people that are so fucking dumb that they can't actually be reasoned with in any way and they can't be educated. That is true. I don't necessarily believe that Cenk and Anna meet that category definition. I believe if this is the case that they are stupid, I think somebody can reach out to them and fix the situation. If it is the case that they are stupid and only stupid and not also stupid and lying. But, right? But if it's the case that they're lying, which I personally believe is an 80-20, I think they're 20% stupid, 80% lying on this issue. If the issue is that they're lying, well, then what do we do? How do you deal with someone who is purposefully going out of their way to be irrational? And if you are a transgender person and you watch these programs and you're left wondering, holy shit, did these people even care about me at all? Well, they probably don't. Just to be honest, they probably don't. But again, if they're lying, I say throw them out. They're garbage. Fuck them. Fuck them. If they're lying. If we can find, like, as far as I'm concerned, the smoking gun is already there. So I say fuck them. But if you want to give me any sort of possible reason why the smoking gun is not actually a smoking gun, that, you know, is an AI deepfake, you know, with my analogy from a while ago, whatever, I'm willing to have that argument. If I'm willing to be convinced that they're just stupid. I'm willing to be convinced of that. If someone wants to debate me on whether or not they're stupid and lying, or just stupid or just lying, whatever, I'm willing to debate that. But the chances that they're not lying on purpose, I don't see it. I don't see it. I really don't. But anyway, I'm sure this segment will get me blacklisted on every show. And that's great, and I'm happy about that, because I don't fucking care about any of these shows anyway, unless you want to invite me on. If you want to invite me on your show, I love your show. It's a great show. But if you're blacklisting me, fuck you, fuck your show, fuck your ass shit, okay? Anyway, that's my opinion as a transgender. That's my opinion. But anyway.